right, it is a new week, Vitality, new week. And I got the inside scoop that we are at the home stretch for these virtual, online, at-home workouts. Okay, so what we see here, the doors are gonna be open here very soon, very soon. Believe me, don't believe what you see on that crazy TV of yours. All right, we are gonna be open less than 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. Okay, after I've made that proclamation, let's get to work. All right, Spencer's gonna take us through mobility. I'm gonna stand here and watch because it's called supervision.
All right,
let's do it.
So we're gonna start in a seated cross shin position. We're gonna go 1 minute side, left foot in front. If we can do that fire log where we stack our foot on top, I'm not mobile enough for that yet, so left foot in front, 1 minute. We can sit up nice and tall or fall forward and stretch those hips out and ankles out a little bit. And then we'll flip sides, right foot in front of the left foot, and we'll go 1 minute there also, okay? So after the 1 minute, we'll go to a child's pose. Hips shoot back towards our heels, pushing those shoulders down towards the ground. Get a good stretch in those shoulders and lats. Sit there for a minute, and then we're gonna get a little more stretch in our shoulders for thread the needle. Lay that palm on the ground and shoulder all the way to the ground. We'll go 1 minute aside here. So 1 minute on our right, and then we'll flip 1 minute on our left. Really trying to get that shoulder down, but focusing on keeping that palm on the ground that whole time. After the minute on each of those, that'll be it for our mobility to get started today.
And what you gotta think about is if you're somebody like me that struggles with the front rack, these are, these last two, the child's pose and the thread the needle, are two of those movements that are gonna help that. So worst case scenario is I complain about this at-home stuff, I don't get any better at mobility, I still don't do any workouts, and I show up at the gym and my front rack is still terrible, all right? Best case scenario, you lose 10% of your strength, but now you look like Spencer in the front rack with a male being able to keep a full grip on that barbell in the front rack, and now my elbows can stay up, and we actually can complete some of this bar work with the right position. So again, it's just another way we can get better at push-ups, we can get better at mobility. There's so many things that can set us up for when we get back in here to take advantage, all right? So make sure we focus on the mobility portion of every one of these daily workouts. All right, guys. Our workout for the day will be a little bit different than what we've seen the last couple weeks. This one is gonna have 4 different pieces to it, and it's gonna be for total time. But we have to go in order. So part A is gonna be accumulate 90 seconds in the hollow hold. So Spence will get down to where he can see the clock, and he's gonna come up and do his hollow. If he does 30 seconds, he'll rest. He can take as much time as he needs. When he comes back up, he picks up where he left off and relax. So he does his 90 seconds and he's at 3 minutes in the clock. He can rest as long as he wants before starting the next piece, but his total time does not stop. It continues to count. Part B is 100 squat jumps, 100 DC crunches, and 100 hand taps. These have to be in order. We cannot partition them. So the 100 squat jumps will look just like this. If we don't feel comfortable jump squatting, he can just air squat. Make sure we get down below parallel, stand all the way up. For our DC crunch, this dead cockroach crunch, he's gonna get his legs as vertical as he can, and he's gonna reach up and try and touch his toes. The biggest thing is now, let's short that movement for coming off the ground. I don't want this to be a lazy reach. I want him to really reach and contract. For the hand taps, I'm gonna have him put his hands a little wider, and he's gonna have to come and bring his hands together on each side, all right? There, good. So the way we can cheat this, I don't want to, is come narrow and I'm just barely tapping. I wanna put those hands a little wider, I wanna challenge that core, and I wanna make sure I touch almost hand on top of the other, all right? So 100 of those. Once I finish 100, 100, and 100, I'm done with part B. The third part C, is gonna be 100 walking lunges. All right, we're just gonna kiss that bat knee off the ground. If I don't have the space, I'm inside, I can just do these walking lunges, the walking lunges will be lunges in place. So 100 of those. Again, we break it up as needed. Once I finish the walking lunges, again, maybe he decides to take a 40-second rest before starting the fourth and final part D, which is back to a 90-second accumulated hollow hold. So again, we've already went over that. We're trying to finish that 90 seconds. Odds are, if you're holding that anywhere close to unbroken, you're probably not doing it right. So I wanna make sure shoulder blades, shoulders are off the ground. My hands, I'm okay with reaching my hands to my toes right from the start, all right? I'm okay with that because usually what we see is when I go hands overhead, the back of my shoulders are on the ground and I'm not able to complete that hollow hold correctly. So those are the 4 pieces. Once I finish all 4 pieces and I accumulate the last 90-second hollow hold, then my time stops. My time stops. So it's up to you how much rest you take. I wouldn't advise hitting Chick-fil-A in between part B and part C, but if that's what Philip wants to do, maybe that's the strategy. All right, guys, have fun with that one. Okay, so the finisher for today, I actually just learned something. Philip just told me that if you shoot top to bottom, it makes you look defeated, but if you shoot bottom to top or up, it makes you look powerful. So from here on out, if you see every video that we do shooting bottom to top like this, now you know why, all right? Spencer wants to look powerful. Okay, the finisher, very simple in concept, execution, not so much. What we're gonna do, he's gonna find a wall. We all have a wall, so please do not tell me, I couldn't do the finisher, I couldn't find a wall. We can all find a wall. If you can't, text me, I'll send Spencer over and he'll find you a wall. We're gonna get to that wall, we're gonna do a max wall sit. So he's gonna stay right at parallel. Now, what we're gonna see is, for example, if I had to pick somebody like Milton, for example, Milton might be a quarter squat, hands on his waist like this, and he might be able to sit there till dinner time. What I wanna do is come right to parallel. Okay, like Ivania. I know his daughter's gonna do it the right way, okay? So hopefully she coaches him up. My hands are not on my thighs. They can be behind my head, hanging at my side, cross arm. We're just hanging out here as long as we can make it, as long as we can make it. I'd love to see some time lapses of this, unless you're like 20 seconds or less and you can do it real time. But do a time lapse, check it out, and send them in to us. And we will have a prize for the longest wall sit. All right, guys, have fun.